just step back. I'm mad that when I come down straight, I thought you were my piece, but you played me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. On the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean, revolution machine. Won't want people stay, they sway. One, 2 day is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, and you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Double time, get something in your rhythm. 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 Double time, get something in your rhythm.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Hold up. We're not ready yet. We're just not ready. Audio. Stereo off. Stop sharing. There we go. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is a happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful day out there. I did a few laps as a pedestrian in Bayonne today. It felt really good. I was not El Rampador in my super-powered chair. I was a simple pedestrian just trying to get across the street today in Bayonne. And a very interesting day. So Liz Lights Up is not here, but there's a story here that would interest her. It's about why more seniors are turning to cannabis use. That's right, more seniors turning to cannabis use. When Don Sarles went to a recent party, he didn't want to show up empty-handed. So he made peanut brittle using an old family recipe with a modern-day twist. "We added the marijuana," he said. The party was... I wonder how he said that. Like, "We added the marijuana." Or, "We added the marijuana." That's a happy sentence right there. Can we say cannabis, though? Are we still using that word marijuana? Can we use cannabis now? Is marijuana like a bad word still? I think it is. I don't know. People are split on that word. I used it, though, because it's in the story. The party was hosted by 74-year-old Gail Crawley at the Trilogy restaurant. It's a golf course. Between 2021 and 2023, cannabis use among Americans 65 and older went up 46%, according to JAMA. Crawley said those numbers reflect that marijuana is a good solution to a lot of medicinal issues. That's right. I was on opiates for 10 years. For 10 years, I was on opiates, and I got off all those opiates using cannabis. So, yes, I agree. With cannabis now legal in 40 states for medical use, 24 for recreational, the stigma is quickly diminishing. Well, not in my family. I'm still a pothead, even though I'm off all the opiates. I struggled to get off all those opiates using cannabis, and people see my journey. My own family still stigmatizes cannabis. Yeah, you know who you are. You know who you are. They're not watching me either. They don't watch. Oh boy! I tell you, when I won that award, though, they were like, "What? Wait, Lefty Edward? He won an award from the federal government and from the joint judiciary. What? How did he do that? He's a pothead. He's nothing but a pothead. He's a loser." Well, I guess not so much anymore. But yeah, that was nice. It was nice to get that. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
What's going on, man?
What's going on in here?
We have Cannabis Church here on Sunday, where we smoke weed and praise God.
Right.
And today we're just doing a podcast. Yeah, we flipped it around here. So if you want to come back Thursday, unless you want to dab, you want to smoke some weed,
Yeah, no, that's
you good?
right for today.
Okay, come back Sunday. We're gonna praise God and smoke weed.
Okay. Take care.
Free commercial for the Cannabis Church on Sunday, 11:11 a.m. here at the Mad Hatter Dispensary, 845 Route 1 Avenel. The dab bar is open at Cannabis Church. Yes, that's right. There's a free freaking dab bar. If that can't get you to church, I don't know what does. Yeah, got coffee. We're going to get all that shit too. We're going to get everything. But if we can't get you here with a dab bar, what do you want me to do? It's a free dab bar. You got to talk about Jesus for an hour. Is it going to kill you? Is it really going to kill you to talk about Jesus for an hour, smoking some dabs? You may even like it. You might even enjoy it. Maybe. It's not like it's not the kind of church you grew up in either. It's not Catholic church where you're standing, kneeling, sitting, standing, kneeling, sitting, standing, kneeling, sitting, standing, kneeling, sitting, and standing. No, we don't do that here. If you want to do that, that's fine. But this is a non-denominational. Just chill, man. It's just a chill church. It's very historic references are included in the biblical references. So you kind of learn a bit of history and why things are the way they are in the Bible. Like you see some things are like, huh? And you understand how the times were back then. The times were crazy back in ancient times. It was very rough, very different. And I like that. I like when they put historical references to biblical quotes. But anyway, back to this story here. This guy here, Stephen Clark, another attendee at Crawley's party, says he's never smoked and prefers edibles. He says it works for PTSD, pain issues, relaxation issues, brain disorders, and heart disease. But some medical professionals disagree. Matt Springer, a professor at UC San Francisco, warns that THC, the main psychoactive component in marijuana, may carry health risks, no matter how seniors ingest it. If they are smoking marijuana, we can be pretty confident that they're harming their cardiovascular system, Springer told CBS News. If they're eating THC, they're not without risk. Older researchers found cannabis use is linked to a doubled risk of dying from cardiovascular disease, a 29% higher risk for acute coronary syndrome, and a 20% higher risk for stroke, according to a study published in June. The authors analyzed data from 24 studies published from 2016 to 2023. I don't know how to say this name. Searles.
You eat it.
Seance, who suffers from chronic pain after a motorcycle accident 5 years ago, said he isn't surprised by the findings. I go to my doctor, and he says, geez, quit drinking milk. Stay away from the sugar. What isn't bad for you nowadays, Seance says. Oh, and that's the end of our story. Did I give everybody the right link today? Oh, my goodness. Did I give... Oh, Jesus. Please tell me I gave you the right link today. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. It looks like the right link. Hold on. I'm going to check. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what's this? All right, hold on. There's some effery going on here. No. What's this? No, nobody's trying to. No, nobody says anything. Who's this? Who's this? Why are you messaging me? People sliding into my DMs unsolicited. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What do you... all right, there's a Dover council meeting tonight. I know. I'll be there. I'll be leaving a message. I know. There's a Dover council meeting. You have to call now. If you want to be at the Dover council meeting, call now to register to speak. If you want to speak, call now. Well, actually, it's too late. You're 2 minutes too late. They close at 4:30. You're done. Sorry.
You eat it.
Sorry about that, folks. All right. Well, this is hurtful. I was in the middle of doing something here, and I forgot what it was. Oh, my God. So bad. This is why I need a producer here. Please. Jersey girl. Jersey girl. What's up? How are you? Were you the first customer at Mad Hatter? Was that it? No. I think I know who Jersey girl is. That's funny. I think that might be Marina, actually. Is that Marina? I think that's Marina. I think it's Marina. Marina, is that you? I can't tell. I'm going to give you the PPP down here. Whoops, PPP, or puff, puff, pass. On Instagram, I don't see the messages. I have to go to Instagram. So I can't put your messages up here. If you want your messages, I can't do it. I don't have the technology. I'm sorry. All right. So, yeah, there's a meeting tonight in Dover. Go to the meeting. What was I doing on Facebook? What was I checking on Facebook? Help me. Hi, Johnny. Johnny, did you hear what I was just looking for on Facebook? I was looking to do something, and I forget what it was. So bad. Yeah, this story is done. Yeah, more seniors are turning to cannabis use. I wish Liz was here. She could talk about seniors. Oh, it is you. Okay, Marina, I thought it was you. Okay, right on. I'm glad you can hear me. I'm glad everything's good. So we have sad news today. Joe Marie passed away. If you haven't been following us, we've been following the story of Joe Marie down in Toms River. She is a multiple sclerosis patient. She has primary progressive MS. She was in the bed she stopped using her chair months ago and was bedridden for the last few months of her life. And Brian used to bring her cannabis, edibles, weed, whatever, and they would either get stolen or they would be thrown away. Well, Joe Marie with multiple sclerosis, needs this medicine for her pain, was unable to access it because people were stealing it. And the nurses would just take it. They would confiscate it. Because cannabis is illegal in the nursing homes. That's right. Ask Chris. Ask Chris what happened to him in the rehab. He would leave property to smoke weed. And they knew he was smoking weed. And they wanted to catch him. Just like freaking high school. I mean, he had 40 operations on his back, and yet they want to bust his balls for smoking a joint off the property. So they knew he was smoking weed. They couldn't prove it. So he had a catheter. So they went into his urine catheter at night when he was sleeping and took his pee and tested it and found out he had THC in his catheter, and they kicked him out of the rehab for that. That's the kind of stuff patients go through here in New Jersey. And it's very sad. Oh, I was going to send the link. That's what it was. The link, which I think is the right link. It's the link we always use, 4928. Yes, this is right. Okay, Facebook. Let me try it again. Let's see. Let's do it here. Let's see if my board is awake. Let's see if the Sativa Cross board is awake. I'm sending it to you guys. I mean, it's Tuesday, right? Everyone knows what day it is. Oh, there's Dear Miller. Okay, at least Jim got the memo. Hey, Jim Miller got the memo. There we go.
Yeah, not everybody knows what day it is. I think you were about to say everybody knows what day it is. you do know me, right? No.
Okay, good. Now I can roll a joint. But I was just talking about Jo Marie. We're going to dedicate this show to Jo Marie. She passed away. She was suffering from MS for many years and progressive MS. She was in a bed for the last few months. She couldn't use her wheelchair. And when we would leave weed for her, or Brian would leave weed for her, the nurses would take it. People would steal it. She would never get the medicine that she needed when she wasn't with the patient that would give it to her, because the nurses are not required to give it to her. As a matter of fact, the nurses confiscated her weed. The nurses took the weed away from somebody suffering from multiple sclerosis in a bed, wasting away, and you're going to take her weed away. Something that makes her feel better, you're going to take that away from her.
Well, it's the people whose job it is, that don't want to get fired, that are going to react like that. And if it was legal for that institution to be able to allow her to do that, according to, it's just not that. I'm not defending the situation. It's just that that's where the fight needs to be as well. And, oh, geez, how many years ago was it? A dozen years ago, 10, 9, 8 years. Well, Governor Christie, when he had John O'Brien, the head of the program, called me up so we could try to figure out how to get cannabis in an edible form to patients in end-of-life situations who are in hospice, and I first couldn't believe how many hospice organizations there are in New Jersey, how many places, there. And then the story was pretty much the same. I made calls. Actually, I kind of recruited a couple other people to make calls because I'm not good at that. But I called over 200 hospice settings, places, whatever they're called, and found that there's absolutely no way under New Jersey law to help them.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
And that is something, the institutional care that the Coalition for Medical Marijuana is very in tune with. Sometimes I think they, as well as other organizations, could be doing more in this area. But CMMJ is very, very good about that. And but with Jo Marie, she is so close to being able to have cannabis in her daily use. If people just knew how to turn a blind eye, then see, this is where it gets blurry for me, is because if you can be like Sergeant Schultz on Hogan's Heroes, I know nothing, I see nothing. People who work there should be able to put themselves in that position where you can say it with a straight face to your coworkers or your boss or whatever should things turn south. But this is something, like that should be dealt with, this exact situation, this exact person, So where is let's say our Senate president who likes to make up rules having to do with cannabis?
What's his name?
Scrutari.
You eat it.
Yeah, he couldn't get enough of that out of Wayne to fit this description of this, and him in particular, because he knows better, because his mother's in the program, as he proudly tells people, and she has multiple sclerosis and obviously has no trouble affording it, but is able to afford it, and or maybe he helps her, I don't know. But it's like I always say, this is happening now to somebody else. It just becomes so much easier to see. This is why you read the names of the people that have passed, and now Joe Marie is going to be added to the list. And Wayne Barini was added not long ago, and in between you get Waxy Brown and So basically, in institutional care settings, how is this not more important? This is, I guess, the root of, I'm not sure how I even feel now. I just feel like we're getting beat, like we are getting beat, and we're not we, not the people I'm looking at here. I mean, we, the cannabis community, the people who know better, they're not mounting a charge. I mean, they never will. I've learned that from the situation with being able to grow your own. My God, if you can't even get a bill heard for that, that's a very narrow, small bill. And then this is going to happen to Joe Marie and pretty much everybody in that situation. It's when I had my catastrophic foot injuries, all I did in the hospital at every opportunity would be I would be in less pain if I weren't in the hospital. I wouldn't have as good of care. But you all suck for being able to get rid of my pain. And it's sort of like, well, we don't want to give you more Dilaudid. And it doesn't seem like this is enough. Constricted. I couldn't breathe. This is like for days. I passed out from pain. I remember pain that was uncontrollable, and then I remember waking up for a split second and feeling the pain, and it was real, and it started freaking me out because I kept thinking I was coming out of a bad dream, and I'm still in that dream, and it's not a dream. They're a teaching hospital. They can't teach shit about stuff they don't know.
Right.
And when 14% of medical schools is all that still, according to David Grinspoon, I've always heard 14% then, teach about the endocannabinoid system in their teaching at medical universities. You're gonna, I'm gonna be a doctor. Well, we don't know about that, so we can't tell you about endocannabinoid system. I'm trying not to say what the fuck, but I obviously failed because I just did. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. Just slipped one under the radar there. So anyway, yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know. I feel beat.
Liz lights up. Liz lights up. Liz lights up. Okay. Liz is here. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to tell you, I went to NECAN.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but The Atlantic City Convention Center's idea of handicap accessibility may leave room for improvement.
Wow.
To say
No
it's,
Rampador rides again in Atlantic City?
yeah, I have to tell you, thank God my daughter flew in and came with me, because quite honestly, had she not been with me, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I can walk, 100, 200 feet, no problem. After that, my lower back starts going. So, I'm also not able to do stairs. So we pull up. There's 7 entrances. They're all numbered 1 through 7. So one would assume that door number 1 would be the first place you would go to. Just a common sense thing. So my daughter goes up the stairs. There was no ramp there or anything. Door number 1 was not open all the way down to door number 7, where there was a little circle, and it did have the handicap curbs, and they say it had valet parking, did not. So my daughter went in because I rented a mobility scooter, and I had paid for it. It was ordered for 9:00, and it was supposed to be at the Copiers Plus place in the convention center. The Copy Plus Center was closed. My Jazzy was nowhere to be found. So my daughter went to the information desk. They were very helpful. They tried to get a hold of the Copier Plus store. They all they could do was leave a message. Then they called the mobility place that I rented it from. And after a lot of bullshit, they found the order, and then we're going to send somebody and deliver it to me. So we had to wait like a half hour till some kid rode past me on it and took it inside. And then they called and he brought it out. But this was ridiculous. And then once inside, they only had one door that, had the handicap button. And that button was another door away, like a garage door. So it was on the far side of this garage door. So you had to press it, and then you had to scoot over quickly to get through the doors before they closed.
That's pretty amazing, right, in and of itself.
I wouldn't have been able to do it if my daughter hadn't come. Once I got through the doors, we were fine. I will say the bathrooms were very well handicap accessible and very clean. Once I got through the doors, got my badge, everything was fine. Had the best time ever.
Well, it sounds like the accessibility part, they missed the easiest parts. I mean, it's not like they had to go through a lot, or, we can't just make it accessible everywhere. Sorry. It's like, and then to fall through the cracks with the timing, of an accessibility device being ready that's supposed to be ready. That's important shit.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't throw you back on the carousel baggage thing until it gets there. And
yeah, and so that was quite annoying. The girls the people at the information desk, my daughter said were terrific. I was just sitting in the car the whole time. This whole fiasco took about an hour. And I thought I had enough time to make it through the entire NECAN, every one of the aisles, but not even close. I made it maybe halfway through before everybody was breaking down.
Rob said he didn't see you there.
I was there on Saturday.
So was I, high as fuck.
I was in the Jazzy. I was scooting around on the scooter.
I don't believe you. Do you have pictures?
Yes.
Yes, I saw.
Is there a video?
Yeah.
The higher who is it? The high hitters? Heavy hitters.
High rollers.
Heavy hitters. It's new in New Jersey.
Oh.
Yes, we know them. Okay, I got to roll. Goodbye, guys.
Be
I
careful.
feel-
Have fun. I'll talk to you soon.
I have to go off and do the weeds work.
Let's go.
Jimmy.
Sorry, man. I gotta run.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, goodbye. That's what being an owner of a dispensary is like. Zip, zip,
Yes.
zip, flash, like the Flash.
Yes. While stoned.
While high.
Yeah. So I got myself some Acapulco Gold here from Heavy Hitters, which I need because, man, I'm still recuperating. My ass is kicked.
So you got all your hair under your hat and behind your head, Lefty, or did you get a haircut you don't want to show us? What's up?
It's got a ponytail.
I am not telling.
Ooh, Mister.
Let them guess.
It just reminds me of a much younger version of you, not because of the gray as opposed to no gray. It's the face, the hair isn't covering with something like that. Yeah, you look familiar.
Yeah, when I
I've
first
seen-
started the tour, I had short hair when I started the INE tour.
Yeah, right.
I slowly became a hippie again.
I remember one point when it was getting near becoming legal for patients, and it seemed like it was, but it wasn't, like there was still another 3 years. And I remember thinking, what if I stopped trimming my beard, I could stop trimming my beard, and then the longer it got, the more it would be like, hey, my beard was up here when it was right around the corner, and look at me now. Holy crap. If I did that for home grow, I'd be tripping over my beard by now.
Well, you should tell them. Make it a thing. You're not gonna trim your beard until home grow passes.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. I gotta, it would be if I spent all my time doing that, because I'd probably have all my time to do that. It's like, come on, Jim. I wouldn't look good in that long beard. I don't look that good in a short beard anymore, but it's kind of short. Whatever.
You're fine.
The one thing I found out, you can't get gray hair color. You believe that?
Yeah.
Can because I never could. I have, yeah. See, this part of my beard here, it's still not going gray. It's like the opposite of a skunk streak of white or something. And there you go. And it's always been there. Look at it. So I haven't scoured around looking for gray, but usually, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Can we get them wrinkles a little closer?
Yeah, can we get up the nose there a little bit?
No, I take care of that. As Pete Christopher warned me about that. and that, and also to cut under here if I'm really trying to get trimmed up for something. And you may not remember it. Well, you will probably. There was a press conference. So we had Brian and Megan had pretty much. They had like letters or whatever, hundreds of them. It was is in the State House, and I remember you wouldn't remember me telling you, but I'm like, hey man, look, I even got trimmed up under here because you never know, and you. Because of your back, ended up, I think, sitting on the floor, like where you were down there, and then you took a picture because it was looking up. You could actually see how well I trimmed up, and you didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, I used to do that. Back when I explain how you might want to dress a little more this way than that. And I felt like crap, I don't want to be the one that, Barney Frank actually said it as bluntly as possible, speaking at a normal conference, when it comes to advocating. He learned something through gay rights advocating, being one of the only openly gay congressperson at the time. And he said, you don't show up in a multicolored jockstrap at a committee hearing, and it's sort of like coming from him, and him saying it in that context kind of drove it home. And then like I always refer to, you found that happy medium where it was like you had a tie on, but it had one of them overcoats that was 3/4 length, like in Tombstone, Arizona back in the day. So you had your personal flourish, but you had a tie on. I mean, look what Zelensky learned about showing up in his improper attire at the White House as a whole worldwide incident,
So, Liz, you would like this story. There's a story in CBS News today about seniors using cannabis use. I'm not sure if you saw it.
No, I didn't see it.
When Don Searles went to a recent party, he didn't want to show up empty-handed, so he made peanut brittle using an old family recipe with a modern-day twist. We added the marijuana, he said. It was hosted by a 74-year-old Gail Crawley at the Trilogy Retirement Community, and they said cannabis is a good solution to a lot of medicinal issues. Americans 65 and older are using cannabis 46% more.
46% more than when? I mean,
between 21 and 23.
Wow.
Cannabis.
2-year period. See, that's significant. And, more so since then, it's already 2 years after that.
They said it works for PTSD, pain issues, relaxation issues, brain disorders, and heart disease. But some medical professionals disagree.
Yeah.
Matt Springer, a professor at UC San Francisco, warns that THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis, may carry health risks no matter how seniors ingest it.
Everything carries health.
If they're smoking marijuana, we can be pretty confident that they're harming their cardiovascular system, Springer told CBS News. They are not without risk. Meh, meh, meh. That's what he said.
I'm sorry. You're making me laugh with the the serious issue. That sucks.
I picture him twisting his long mustache.
Yeah.
Meh, meh, meh.
Like Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, yeah. It's
seniors are using cannabis at a growing rate.
So did Snidely Whiplash? He's a doctor. You say he probably attended one of the 86% of medical schools that don't teach the endocannabinoid system. So that's like the severely badly visioned leading the blind. I just found out, and I don't know, I guess it's related. I look back at the National MS Society we have a plan to end multiple sclerosis or defeat. We're going to get rid of it, and we need money. And they were the ones I fought with because they were always the go-to for the opposite point of view of whatever Cheryl and I had to say for 7 or 8 years straight. And that's why she marching down Fifth Avenue at the Cures Not Wars parade. They did have about 5,000 people there. With the sign, MS Society's Dr. Reingold's medical marijuana liar or whatever the sign was, And so I posted that picture and tried to remind, of that. And now 3 weeks later, I came across the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and my comment from 3 weeks ago was the most recent comment. So all the comments had washed out over a 3-week period, but it's still up on their main page there. So I'm going to start posting pictures. I don't even need to make comments. It'd be like Cheryl with her sign and something.
Yeah.
And it reminded me that, they do understand that it has value in mitigating the effects of multiple sclerosis. They do.
Yeah.
But I can't let them take that quantum leap by them being culpable in the problem. When they start out sending me an accidental internal memo that should have been sent to only MS chapters on how to handle MS patients' questions about marijuana, how to handle their questions. In other words, how to deflect them, how to appease them. And so anyway, I'm telling them that I ain't gonna let this stand, and I don't know, it's just something stirring inside me that's new and not comfortable. It's almost like deep down inside, I feel like I'm missing something that, I don't know. And we do have tomorrow a seminar to look forward to, webinar. Now, this is something I can't get my mind around. The New Jersey Cannabis Association having their webinars that would be including separately each of the candidates for governor.
No bark.
So they have Jack Chittarelli scheduled for the 28th, and for tomorrow at 10:30. It should be Mikey Sherrill, and the webinar is for the candidates to express their positions or feelings on any cannabis issues in New Jersey, which is what the Cannabis Business Association should be dealing with. So while that's fine, the fact that it's still below radar that we have a Senate president who is the single-handed blockade on a medical marijuana home grow bill not being allowed to take the first step in New Jersey's legislative due process of a bill becoming law. I mean, wow, but not wow. So here,
Yeah, and New York has home grow.
So
they haven't been in the game as long as we have.
Riddle me this. She's not going to be the one talking about her position. Senate President Scutari is the one who will be explaining her positions and how she feels about things. This is about all things cannabis. So how is this going to work out? I mean, here's what we'll get to the moderating. Basically, it's a Zoom meeting, and you can just anybody be on. And I'm assuming it'll have the sidebar that you can type in stuff. So normally in these situations where you don't get chosen to ask a question, but you can type your questions and somebody sees them, and you kind of pick from there. It's the way I've been to more than a few Zoom meetings like that. But this one here, Bill Caruso is the moderator, and we do go back. And I got to be open with everybody that, I got in touch with him, but I didn't want to call him Lefty because I didn't want the natural defense of, I understand that he's playing by an inside set of rules, and meaning he has contacts and conduits to he's kind of on the inside, and to stay there, he can only go so far. But how it's built for failure. You can't meet the candidates where you only meet one of the candidates. And I got to wonder, they really need to explain how that works, that we're going to hear from Nick Scutari about how the Democratic candidate feels. And I mean, he's not even a committee person. What do you call it? Not on her team specifically, but he's the guy. And plus he's the godfather of cannabis in New Jersey. But the fact that it's like, okay, Senator Scutari, could you explain candidate Cheryl's position on you blocking the medical home grow bill from being heard? Could you explain, is she mad at you? Does she love you? I mean, this is like asking Donald Trump, what does somebody think of him or what he's doing? You know, it's the Cannabis Business Association putting on what I consider to be the biggest farce of all time, getting a candidate. Why isn't it her? I mean, why would you? This is like allowing buildings grandfathered in that don't have accessibility. Yes, they shouldn't be okay with that venue being okayed for a dispensary. Then it should be at the permitting process where it gets thrown out, and then it's not an issue. You know, it's what's he going to say? I mean, you can't. There's no way to ask the question. So anyway, I've been assured the question of home grow will be asked, and yeah, I don't know if it's medical or not. I do not believe that the fact the bill is not allowed to be heard for going over 40 years now, including 2 Senate presidents.
Yeah, that's not the question. The question is the hearing. The home grow we're going to get the same answer we've gotten for the last
right,
6 years.
exactly. But they're going to ask, you're right, they're going to ask, how does she feel about home grow? And no, it's how does she feel about the information she needs being kept from all other senators and her and anybody.
That's the question.
It's being, and at the same time, out of the other side of Scutari's mouth, he's saying there's really no will in the Senate to pass this bill. Maybe, you know, that was what Herb Conway was saying, but it's probably in their little book of things to say. It's about the information that's needed to have, by definition, a well-founded opinion. See, the committee hearing is where you get information from both sides of the issue, and don't think the police and rehabs and everybody else that might be making money off, you know, the fact that you can't grow your own. And they're going to show up, and people like us are going to show up, and people are going to portray themselves as experts when they're not, like David Evans, you know. And wouldn't it be cool to finally see him again? I get under his skin like that, you know. I live in his head. Yeah, rent free. Actually, he pays me money to get out of his head, so I don't know what you leave that. It's not going to be dealt with tomorrow. I'm pretty sure of that.
No.
But it's like, okay, let's plan a really big trip and make sure we have everything, get it all packed up. But we don't know where the keys to the car are. So shouldn't we know where the keys are and know that we can start this, you know? It's all the rest downhill is moot. It's irrelevant. And as far as gathering co-sponsors go, and I confirmed it with Mike at Vin Gopal's office, that he knew the bill I was talking about when I said, hey, listen, getting co-sponsors for $13.93, yeah, that's necessary, but man, it can't be more than one prong of a many-pronged attack, because there was a bill that had 26 co-sponsors, and I was explaining to Gopal's guy, Mike, and I think it had to do with smoking in Atlantic City or something. And he said it did. And so him saying it did means he already knew, and they're well aware that 26 co-sponsors, 6 more than well, 5 more than you need to be assured of getting something passed on the Senate floor, didn't get brought up by Senate President Scutari. So he doesn't have to bring it up ever. The discussion should be, Senator Scutari, as Senate President, you can stop any bill from being voted on committee or the Senate floor. Why would you stop the information senators need from being able to make a well-founded opinion on it to back up what they think? Why would you stop the information rather than the vote itself? And
who's paying you to do that?
There is a reason. It's not like, is there a reason, Senator? There is a reason.
Who is paying you to do that?
That would be the best starting place, because if it wasn't that, he would have explained his reasoning. In other words, what are you protecting New Jersey from happening? What have you saved New Jersey from happening that's worse than the pain of people dying in needless discomfort because they couldn't afford this newly legal medicine?
People like Joe Marie.
Yeah, right, exactly. So,
thank you, Scutari.
You eat it.
yeah, it's just, I get a feeling that not getting over that and it's still going to be remaining under radar, it just means I have to start really upping my methodology, choosing my words carefully, because this is the last link, and we've tried everything. And patients, on a good day, they come in second. And the only reason they don't come in less than second is because there's usually only 2 horses in the race. Basically they come in last if there's a 3-person race, fourth if there's a 4-person race. And I don't know if it's because they can't fight back or what. I mean, what is it? It's because they offer no threat. Well, Frank Pallone found out different. James Rogan found out different. Bob Barr found out different. Yeah, there is a price to pay. If you don't have money to give somebody and you can pick their pocket for a few $1,000s worth of PR reparations, that's the same as giving them that money. You take it, you take money.
No, it's way more than that.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
And my guess is the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, that would be the best guess in New Jersey.
The swag is disappearing. The trips are disappearing. The box seats. Huh?
That's the playing field we have. And, I'm not a defeatist, except for I am. And if it slows me down from doing something we can move the needle on, there's no way we're going to change that. And, yeah, we do have to make sure that it's known and reference it at all opportunities. But it's not like, well, then there you go. There's nothing we can do. Like I'm saying, it has to become more personal for them. And
I have to jump off real quick. I got somebody coming to my door that I have to talk to, but I'm going to try and jump back on as soon as I'm done.
Is it cannabis related, Liz?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Then you're not allowed.
I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I can get back in pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll be
all
there.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lights up.
Leaving the house.
Lights up.
Liz lights up.
Liz lights up.
Leaving the house.
Thank you.
Oh man. Oh,
Just
man.
intro and an outro. That's how much we love Liz. Lightsup.com. And helping seniors, helping the sick, the dying, the disabled of the senior community.
So are you going to do are you going to watch the Zoom meeting tomorrow at 11:30?
Yeah, I'll watch the shit show.
Yeah, but okay, here's something else. Suppose you do get to type stuff in. Everybody sees it. The moderator, the candidates, and anybody that views this later should be able to see the comments, correct? So basically, we've got to keep offering comments if that comment section is open. You're missing the point.
Pummel them with hearing. We want information.
Information. Block the vote, not the information. Ooh, that's a sign right there. block the vote. Don't block the information. We can
How
even
does Mikey Sherrill feel about informational hearings on cannabis homegrown?
Well, informational hearings that aren't allowed to be heard, it's in the title of what it is. It's called, the technical name for that is committee informational hearing. And they call it that for a reason. It's there to provide information so that you don't have to go to MSNBC or Fox News. You don't have to go left or right. You don't have to guess if you're listening to an echo chamber that really has no basis of fact. So basically, if you're going to ask any senators what they think about this bill, you got to say, where do you get your information for your opinion on this bill? Because you're not getting it from a committee hearing. Where are you getting your information? Do you have a news source we can reference so we understand the basis of your information? It's a fair question. And that's the kind of thing that Joe Vitelli has been known to ask when somebody really spits out some bullshit. He will control the obvious bullshit that goes on, and both ways too. I think he's really good about that. But he's not going to get a chance to do that. And the goal of Scutari's version of 2025 is his project 2025 is how to keep this from being heard this session as well, all the way through to lame duck session. Do not let it have a committee hearing in a lame duck session. Otherwise, it might hit the ground running. And really, imagine having the hearing finally. What are adults going to say? They're not the first thing the second thing they're going to say is good for patients. The first thing they're going to say is, what about us? This applies to us. Everything you just heard in committee, everything you just heard is going to be heard at the hearings that are being blocked for adult homegrown. You're going to hear the same things. So basically, Scutari has to block medical homegrown hearings to keep that information that would also be exactly the same in an adult homegrown hearing. The concerns shouldn't be like patients aren't going to let it get into the black market, but adults will. I mean, is that the argument? Then make it. But Scutari can't make that argument. So basically, he had to throw the net to include patients, and that's why it's happening. It's exactly why it's happening. Because come on, we know the outcry when everybody went, what do you mean no home grow? I voted for this referendum. I thought it included home grow. Okay, yeah, that would be, and I don't mean ignorance in a bad way. Ignorance is when you don't know how that works. And they don't put the regulations in, they put the idea in, and the devil's in the details and the regulations. And it was never meant to be home grow. It was not to be included. And nobody really made a big deal about that. I mean, I didn't hear, hey, it doesn't include home grow, because we didn't know what it included. There were no regs yet. So that's sort of a risk you take when you go to the ballot box and you think you know what you're voting for. So, Senate President Scutari and the godfather of legal cannabis in New Jersey knew exactly that was never going to be a part of it, because the godfather needs his cut too. He needs his slice of the pie going into the New Jersey Treasury, which is where he gets his power from, being the one to deliver that on top of everything else. That counts. Yeah, that question ain't going to be asked. So I'm really kind of disappointed in that, but like so I messaged Bill. We went back and forth once, and I told him, I know you are restricted in by circumstances I don't know about. I'm not allowed to. So it doesn't mean that there aren't any ways to bring this to a head. And I'm thinking somewhere along the line, somebody made a good case for you could file something, a legal motion, that this is like, okay, what happens on the federal level? This is a lot like what our president does nationally, that our Senate president is doing within the confines of being in the majority party. It's a sort of a parallel situation. But as we know, there's something in the works for having senatorial help speaking up where they haven't in the past. Is going to happen by the snail's pace we've been going for 4 years. It'll seem relatively soon. But that's in the middle of getting fleshed out. Man, it's like I can't smoke enough to break this feeling. Not coincidentally, I'm finding out. I felt really bad when Brian Cummings weighed in. Yeah, I found out when I stopped by to see her. He didn't know. And he had to go in and say, I'm here to see Joe Marie, and that's where he found out. And Brian's not doing well.
There's a pizzeria in New Jersey adding cannabis to its pizza.
You got to bring her own in, or I mean, that's really a cool. Could you do that? I mean, just because that decarboxylate the shit out of it, wouldn't it?
Let's see. It says here, remember those Girl Scouts who sold cookies near a weed dispensary? It looks like a local pizza shop is taking a page out of their playbook. Di Lorenzo's Pizza in Hamilton has recently closed, but not for good. The 86-year-old staple is undergoing renovations to convert the building into a pizza cannabis dispensary hybrid. Looking forward to seeing you soon at our exciting new venture, they posted on their social media. That's interesting. Gives new meaning to the pizza joint.
So are they saying that they'll be legally licensed, however the state might do this? Or
I guess Di Lorenzo's is getting a cannabis license.
Think about it. If you just put bud in with pizza and baked it, would that not successfully decarboxylate it correctly, or would it overdo it? How does that work?
Those ovens are pretty hot.
Oh no, if they're hot enough. But but in other words, it wouldn't deplete what it burn off any of the benefits, whether it be THC or.
It might work. There's an arc. You have to hit like 200 degrees at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you're at 500 degrees.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, what are they at there? They're better than 450 by a little bit.
500 by 550.
Yeah, because you can't get that in your own oven. So what I would be suggesting would be, couldn't people just go with their own decarbed and say, and they put it on right as it comes out, and it still bubbles into it, and then it sinks into the cheese a little bit, and because if you could do that, it shouldn't be illegal, because no money's changing hands for the cannabis. It's adult to adult, and it's basically that person consuming their own cannabis in somebody else's pizza that then isn't put out for sale or anything. So, I did learn of how you could bend rules when I arrived in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma at the time, and probably still, did not allow liquor by the drink. You could not operate an establishment that sold liquor by the drink. Now, I learned about that buying individual beers, elbows up in a bar. And I was like, but I'm doing that here. No. When you come into the establishment, you become a member of a club. And this is kind of like the clubhouse. All you're paying for is the mixing fee. While you're in here, you're part of the club. You can't take out any of the club liquor except in your stomach. So it's a mixing fee. And I thought it was the craziest thing ever. But that's how it exists there. So cannabis gets monitored more closely than alcohol does. So go figure. I still like the idea of a cannabis consumption lounge being next to an old Victorian home with a wraparound porch and people all over the freaking place smoking as an alternative. Hey, if you can't afford the $5 for the lounge, stop by. Come smoke and watch people walking into the lounge. Free over here.
That's free. I like that.
Why not? You know, it's like that's worse than a hot dog vendor outside of a hot dog store or an actual brick and mortar store. I can see that, but the idea. So how about they should be able. It's like a bar, alcohol. You know, you go in, you order your method of consumption, you sit there and do it. I don't know. I did like it when I found out that you couldn't smoke cigarettes inside anymore, which meant that everybody was going out, and you'd put your coaster over your cup, means you're coming back and you're just out having a cigarette and somebody didn't grab your seat and all that. And, you work for joints too, just rolling up like a cigarette. Look around. Yeah, I smell it too. Damn. Of course, that's coming from me, the guy who, when I would go to a motel and I like to have fun, and of course I smoke, but even if it was a motel where you'd go into like the bathroom, you could even run the shower because the mist would keep it from spreading and there's no smoke detectors in there, yada yada. You do that, but I'd always blow it out like in through my shirt and then go on the elevator immediately afterwards, like you couldn't stink more, smell like freshly burnt. And I'd go in, especially if it's a casino elevator, and it would strike people immediately. And I'd sniff around, say the same thing, and then in the silence go, hey, somebody's been smoking pot, and then look like, oh, never mind. And then kind of look and put my head down, Yeah, I hear how it sounds. I know there's something wrong with me. I've just gotten used to it. Hey, really, seriously, when I hear myself saying nothing but the truth, part of me hears it like if somebody were saying that to me or about somebody else, and I'm not sure my first thought would be complimentary towards that person, which of course would be me. So, hey, there should be a deal where if a shrink can't peg you at all, you get your money back. That'd be interesting. I'd have a shot at having somebody to talk to, and they'd have to give me my money back when they couldn't figure out why I am how I am.
On Instagram, they say there's a restaurant in Freehold that's also serving infused food. We don't know the name though. And that's from Little Tiger 480.
I mean, I would think that, there was Burton Aldrich, the late Burton Aldrich, in New York, for a time was in a facility. And I forget that people who were okay with those who consumed cannabis as medicine or a certain pin. So who would look the other way and even help you. So it just sort of seems like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You go to a place and you're on the VIP list and
How are you? Come on in.
you get something added.
Good, man. Yeah, it's a cannabis church now. We have we celebrate, we smoke weed, and we praise God on Sunday. And they have also events here. So tonight's a podcast. You have a podcast here, but we're part of the dispensary next door. Yeah. Come back Sunday.
We'll pray for you also. I admire how you do that, because it will happen. Somebody's going to come in and say that's great, and you'll have your 2 that turns into 3, that turns into 4. But it's what I talk about. You do it regardless of what you assume the chances of success are. I mean, even this guy and friend in high school used to just ask a girl, would you like to have sex? And they, of course, always said no. And he said, I'll bet over a few years I could do that 1,000 times, and you only got to be right once. And it was like the tenacity of that statement, And I've always admired Drew Carey since before I knew anything about him. And when he was first on Letterman, I think it was, and he has his trademark glasses. They were Marine issued glasses because I believe it was a Marine issue, if I'm not mistaken. That's the Kirk branch of the service, and that he just kept on with him because he got used to him after he was discharged. But he'd talk about how, I'll tell you though, I could go in, I would get turned down 50 times because of these glasses. And all I heard was he didn't quit at 49. He didn't quit at 40. He didn't quit at 30. He kept on trying, and I guess that's kind of been a barometer for me for, tenacity. Yeah, you got that.
Yeah, for home grow, for sure, for home grow.
No, tenacity. Look, you go around the block, 88 feet, 22 across each road, 4 times 88 per cycle. What do I figure? You've gone like 40 miles or something.
Well, today I walked. I walked the intersection today as a pedestrian. No El Rampador. I just had my cane. I did about 15 laps, man. I just kept going and seeing if people, would stop. And
how'd you feel afterwards? Did it put you out? I mean,
I'm
physically.
in pain. I'm a mess. I
So
wish I had my wheelchair.
Yeah, but you can tell the difference. Yeah, okay. It's like I get that, like with my feet. Sometimes the cannabis does its job and everything feels good, and then I kind of overdo it. And because I have that whatever it's called, apparently, that the president has when his ankles swell over his top of his shoe. Yeah, I got pictures of my feet taking work boots off. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, it looks like a fake leg because it's so well defined at that point. It looks like I got a fake, and it was like not big enough foot. But that happens just when I feel too good. And yeah, there's a penalty to pay later. Hey, look, even I didn't understand clearly, like in an airport when somebody's in a wheelchair, you know, that's a lot of traveling. And you can't see what it does to a person unless they're old. I mean, you know, used to travel through the airport with Cheryl. They had these little trams. I mean, security has them, you know, where you could take somebody away, but they would also help us. But I'd hold her on my lap and behind, you know, the guy doing it. And then, you know, I'd pretend like we just got married, and I'd embarrass her, you know, but she couldn't get away. And hey, you know, one time accessibility issue. Yeah, we had a connecting flight at Denver to go to Oklahoma. You had to fly over to Denver and then jump back. That would have been the best, because Oklahoma, there was like one direct flight. We couldn't take that one. But anyway, yeah, they had a plane out on the tarmac. And there's no way, you know, there's no consideration on how to get her up. And when I assured them I could carry her up the steps everybody else had to walk up, that was when I realized how we could travel first class the next two times that we went, that we flew, and that was it for flying. But it was because, you know, you carry her up there, and then there's people already putting their stuff away. She's in my arms. There's a seat in first class. You sit here. Okay, and then they let us stay there. So that just showed me that if we boarded late, like we were late arrivals, that even though, yeah, I could, you know, get her in an airport wheelchair and wheel her right up to the to where you get into the plane, they could transfer you to a smaller wheelchair. I could carry her, but either way, people would be in the way. So you'd fly first class if you're that handy, and you need that kind of access. Just show up late. Yeah, the good old days.
Well, I want to thank Mad Hatter for having us here and having a cannabis church here. The first cannabis church in New Jersey. It's here. And it's a real cannabis church. We're not worshiping cannabis. We're worshiping God, using cannabis as a sacrament, spiritually.
That was a good, by the way, bullet point short version you just sent. It is that quick to make that distinction. You know, I mean, there's no reason why you can't talk about cannabis and God in the same conversation. I mean, it's not like, well, no, we're not here to talk about cannabis. They walk hand in hand. Even I have always referred to it as like, it's sort of like God's greatest gift for all the ways that you can use it, and that you can't stop it from growing. It's a weed. It pretty much grows everywhere. And then, you know, you can food, fuel, fiber, medicine, all of it. And what do? We make it illegal. Ain't that a kick in the teeth?
No mens rea. I am the law.
Yeah, well, it just seems to me, you know, I have actually asked people, I said, I've prayed about this and God's given me an answer. Have you prayed about it? You know, and you tell me, aren't people that pray worried about lying about praying? Because wouldn't that be a bad thing to do, like in God's view? You know what I mean? I mean, if they really are, I'm trying to find a weak spot here. But I do. And the thing is, it seems like that's the first thing somebody of faith would do to clear it. You know, like ask for some guidance. And, you know, you ask for guidance, you feel how you feel, you assume that's the guidance. I'm good with that. But, you know, the fact that they have, not just that they have a good amount of, okay, the technical name for what they have, the actual technical name is essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids. It's not something you can't pronounce. And they're called essential because you need them. But not only are they essential, found there in greater percentage volume, I think, than anything other than, I think, soybeans of all things, right up there, if I'm not mistaken. But they're linoleic and linolenic, two different kinds of essential fatty acid, and they are in the really best combination. It's like a 2-to-1 ratio. It's got it all. So,
well, Mad Hatter has it all too. Come to Mad Hatter, where the blunts are fatter.
Okay, now I noticed, and I'm not making fun when I say, like, in the beginning, of course, it was like if there's Adam and Eve was made from a rib, God had to know, I can't keep this up. We need something else, and it's sex. But how will they know to do it? You're gonna make it feel good, and then people will do it because it feels good. So what about cannabis? What would God's way of letting us know make it feel good? And it does. That was his alert for us to gravitate towards it. And it wasn't another poison apple thing. And I believe that. I mean, I have a hard time fitting into people's box, but I do. I got faith. I don't know in what, in the goodness of nature, I call it, So anyway, it's a conundrum. But I do like the idea of people medicating while getting into that vein of how they feel about being in cannabis church. I mean, I want to come and like hang out, because it might still be an interesting experience.
Dab bar is open, and today's Sunday's sermon is about anxiety.
Really?
So, if you have anxiety, Sunday is a great day for you to check out Cannabis Church. We'll be talking about anxiety.
Well, isn't that really something that everybody could use a little less of?
Especially in New Jersey.
Yeah.
You live in New Jersey, you have anxiety just living here in this state.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mad Hatter, for having us here every Tuesday, Thursday night, and every Sunday morning for Cannabis Church. Show up 845 Route 1 Avenel. It's a great experience. People are showing up here, and we're doing live commercials with the people coming in here, and it's great because some of them come in here for something else, and we tell them, no, we're church now. And they're like, church? What? But I'm here for I'm here. It's church now. It's church now. Here, take a joint. Cannabis Church. Here, have a joint. Some people, one guy comes in, took a dab. He took a dab. He loved it. Another person took the blunt out of my hand and smoked it. He was like, this is great. I love this. He was from Pennsylvania, though. But he loved the idea of Cannabis Church. So stop in Sunday for Cannabis Church. CMMNJ, thank you. UFCW, ArloGlassOperMachine.com, and SativaCross.org, where you can donate $1 million to SativaCross.org. Just hit that button. And our list sucks today because we're adding to it, and I don't like days where we add to the list, Jim.
Yeah, I know. Well, where it at? And it's it seems to be picking up the pace. The names being added, there could be a couple months go by before, and now it's, it's right out of lyrics to Blowing in the Wind. How many deaths will it take? Too many. Already too many.
We're talking about Jo Marie, and we're going to add her at the end. But yeah, Jo Marie. There's an obituary here. Where is it?
Yeah, you should read that if you would. We have time, technically.
Yeah, Jo Marie Castellano, age 52, passed away peacefully after a long, courageous battle with multiple sclerosis. Primary progressive multiple sclerosis, to be correct.
Glad they added that. There is a difference. That's about less than 20%. It's called the bad kind.
The bad kind of multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, there's no valleys. There's no peaks and valleys, It's pretty much downhill.
Jo Marie was a devoted daughter, aunt, niece, and cousin who brought warmth and light to the lives of all who knew her, which is true. She was very funny. She was a trip. I got to find the video with her because she was a trip, man. She was fun. A lot of fun. Despite the challenges of MS, she faced each day with strength and grace, inspiring those around her. To know her was to understand her personality and her humor. And we would give her cannabis gummies and stuff to use, and they would take them. The nurse would take them. People would take them. She would never get them unless we were there to give them to her. She couldn't help herself. She had to be fed her medicine, and they took it. Come on, man. Look at her suffering there. You're going to take her medicine away? Something that makes her feel good? You're on the wrong side of history. Nursing homes. That's just sad, man.
Well, that's why we got to do better on institutional care being allowed in this area. And there is bills vaguely getting that started that just are, I can't even tell you what they are just because there's no interest.
So our list begins with Cheryl. Multiple sclerosis, and she had
primary progressive.
She had primary progressive multiple sclerosis.
That's how I learned so much about it. That's why I know Brian. That's why I know Jo Marie, because I know Brian. It's when Brian found out he had that, and a mutual friend suggested he contact me, came to Trenton, and he asked me to be straight with him, and I was, and it's pretty much as he expected then.
Well, Brian has had other issues. He's had cancer. He's got arthritis and stenosis.
No, he's got a back issue, I believe it is, because of being picked up from when he fell off the chair in the shower, and he had somebody. He had a phone he could call, and somebody put to help pick him up. It's something happened, and so I don't know that he's even able to drive himself around now.
Bongholio and I visited her, and Brian Cummings visited her, and a lot of people visited her. Tried to help her as much as we could, but they were all against it. Everybody was against it.
Needs to be institutionally care legislated, I mean, it's just not going to happen by itself, and there's so much else going on that's under everybody's radar. And hey, I know better. I'm not beating that bush. I've become too much of a specialist in one area. So somebody needs to step up.
Step up like Cheryl.
Well, I mean, like, to make it personal, where it is already personal for somebody in institutional care. Like Joe Marie. I mean, there's really nobody in her circle, I think, that's going to be capable that isn't already doing something cannabis related as far as advocacy goes. But it's medicine. If it's medicine in New Jersey, and we're supposed to treat it as such, why, this needs to be legislatively dealt with. And people have their district's legislators, and they need to do something about it. But there's no train running on that station right now. I mean, my God, we live in a state where New Jersey can help somebody die from a terminal disease, but not help them live by allowing them to grow their own medicine that would actually keep them from needing the end-of-life choices New Jersey offers. They offer better choices for dying than they do for living if you have a terminal illness.
Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Waxy, Joe Marie, Jeff.
This concludes our podcast.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody else, and we'll see you Thursday.
I've got to do the ode quick. Ode to remembrance.
Good night, everybody. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.